In a perfect world, businesses wouldn't even have to work with gender diversity. They would already know that companies prioritizing diversity choose from a wider pool of talent and ultimately more innovative ideas. And they would know that new generations entering the workforce value diversity more than status and at least as much as salary. They would even know about the research showing that management teams comprised of at least 30% women are more successful than those with only men on the team, and that these same companies have a 41% greater return on equity and 56% higher operating margins. This is because in diverse groups, participants prepare more. They tend to bring more to the table and argue more constructively than groups where everyone has a similar background. These smart leaders would also know why 30% is the magic number for changing the business case. Rosabeth Moss-Cantor, professor at Harvard Business School, explains that it's only once minority members make up at least 25 to 40% of a group that their perspectives and opinions take on credibility. Up until this point, minority opinions tend to fold into the majority, keeping the group thinking decidedly inside the box. So, how far are we from a perfect world? Our intentions are in the right place, but the actual numbers don't show it. Getting women onto boards has been a hot topic, but when we look to the executive ranks where board members come from, there are almost no women to choose from. Globally, in management groups, women represent only about 10% on average. This means that counting at the top on boards is not resulting in a trickle-down effect when it comes to top management levels. The proportion of companies where at least 25% of managers were women was only 8%. Basically, the higher women rise within a company, the lonelier they become, even in companies that employ mostly women. There's certainly no lack of female talent. In 2009, women accounted for 58% of total higher education graduates within OECD countries. Yet at the same time, 46% of senior HR executives surveyed in Manpower's latest global survey said that a lack of talent was making it harder for their firm to implement its business strategy. So what on earth is going on? If companies are deeply committed to diversity like they say they are, and they're facing a talent shortage, then why are their efforts failing right after takeoff? Is it just that change is slow and we have to be patient? Or is it that parenthood sets women back in their careers? Or is it simply that women don't aspire to be leaders? These are certainly the typical excuses, but they're not answers. We have to find solutions that actually work. In 2010, McKinsey identified 3 activities that they expected would make a real difference. These were clear commitment from the top management, special leadership programs for women, and mentors. 2 years later, the results were in, and with these activities alone, most companies missed the mark. But not all companies. Here's what worked for the ones that succeeded. The CEO and management made a commitment, they made it public, and they followed up. They made specific business cases for what greater gender equality would mean for their companies. They set specific, measurable goals and stayed on top of the numbers. They changed attitudes at all levels, and they created unique solutions that worked for them. So what does all this mean? Companies that want to be competitive in this century's asymmetric business climate must design an organization that fits the needs of the talent, rather than squeezing people into predefined roles. As Einstein once said, "We can't solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." The key lies with the women already working for you. They know exactly which things your company could do to make it easier to advance from within. Your job will be to listen and respond, and together find a way to make the right changes and boost your bottom line in the process. How will you do it?